What's up? I just joined the website. Feel a little weird making a video of myself, but who doesn't like showing off their guitars? So to start off, I'll show you guys my my most played guitar. It's a Taylor something. I play this guitar all the time. Sounds great. I just don't have to hook up an amp and all that crap. So on to the next. The next one up is a cool Telly style guitar. It's a GNL ASAT classic blues breaker something. I don't remember what they called it. It's got the humbucker in the neck though. That's the big deal. I didn't have a Telly. I never had a Telly style guitar until a few years ago. My wife gave me the go ahead to purchase this from the Guitar House in Tulsa. If you're ever in Tulsa, Oklahoma, check them out. It's a cool place. It's a cool guitar. You'll probably see me play this a lot on the videos. Next in the lineup is this Carvin DC700. Yeah, I think that's it. It's a pretty slick guitar. It's got a flame maple fretboard, 7-string. It's got a cool metallic blue satin finish, Floyd Rose locking tremolo, just all the ridiculous stuff that you don't need. It's a fun guitar to play. I had this built at the same time my cousin had one built. He got an all white, he got a tuxedo ebony fretboard look to his, and we had fun picking out our options together. It's got coil taps, really amazingly wide range of tones you can get out of this. Love this thing. When I started playing guitar, I had a Kramer Strat copy, and I played that thing for years, man. It served me well, but whenever I was turning 16, I was getting really deep into guitar playing, and my dad told me basically you could either pick a cheap car or you could get a really nice guitar. And since I drove the family car anyway, I opted for the guitar. This was originally a quilted black finish. Being an idiotic 16-year-old, I left it in a few garages, temperature changes and stuff like that, and the clear coat had lifted off. So a few years back, I completely reworked this thing. It's a Carvin DC 147, I think. It's the only difference between it and the 127 is that you can get it with the middle pickup. I've switched out the bridge and neck pickup for Seymour Duncan Jason Becker Perpetual Burn and a Seymour Duncan P-Rail. I've done extensive modifications to the electronics and all kinds of stuff. Obviously the finish there, you can see I went with an orange and black look. Go Oklahoma State. I like to modify guitars. It's probably spend more of my time doing that in the last years than I have playing them, which is part of the reason I'm on this site. So hopefully I can get some mileage out of these sweet guitars that I like to play with. The next one up is a old school Sigma acoustic. It's a DM3 copy, I think. My grandpa claimed to have bought this whenever he was on a pipeline job. And all he wanted to know how to do is play the solo line from Mona Lisa Lost Her Smile by David Allan Coe. And he did that and never played again. And he gave it to my aunt, who gave it to me. So it's a lot of sentimental value. So anyway, that's that one. I don't play it a lot, but I like having it around. Remember how I said I like project guitars and goofing around and doing stupid stuff? This is like the quintessential like do stupid stuff and see what happens thing. It's an Agile AS820 or I don't know the models, man. I don't know the models. This thing's got dust all over it, but it's pretty cool. It's the only semi-hollow body I owned. I bought it because I didn't own a semi-hollow body and I didn't want to spend a lot of money getting a really nice one. So I've completely reworked the potentiometers and switch in here, all with CTS components. So the next thing I have to do is to change out the pickups, and I want to get it set up and get it looking better. New tuners and stuff are on the horizon too. Once that happens, I mean, it'll be a pretty sweet little player. Next up in the list is this sweet Warmoth Strat that my family helped me piece together. One Christmas they all got together, and my wife got me this sweet body. It's a zebra wood top, chambered, mahogany back, painted black. This cool neck my parents got me. It's got a sweet stripe in the ebony. I love that look. I think it looks really cool. It's a really interesting sounding Strat. I just stuck some Fender Tex-Mex pickups in it. I like them quite a bit. It needs work, needs full setup, which I am not great at doing. I'd like to take it into somebody that's a little bit better. I don't play this one that often. Primarily just because the setup isn't where I want it to be, but it'll get there someday. I'm a very lazy guitar maintenance person. This next one is my red Strat. It's probably one of my most prized possessions and one of the cheaper guitars. Well, was one of the more cheaper guitars that I had purchased up to about a year and a half ago or so. The neck was in really bad shape. I wanted to get a Warmoth neck. My wife decided to get me one for Christmas. I had never finished a neck before, so I thought it would be a cool project. Yeah, I was bad and put a logo on there because I wanted to. But it was a 94 Fender Strat that was from a Squier. They called it the Squier series. It's a really cool sounding guitar now. I put vintage, I think it was 60s Fender vintage 60 Strat pickups in it. It's got a TBS, I think it was called, tone control. So there's actual bass boost and treble boost once you get past the 5 o'clock mark. 1 to 5 it works like a normal tone control, and then past the 5 o'clock mark it is a boost. And then this tone control actually turned into a blender pot. I was going to put in a David Gilmour style flip-on switch, but I decided to go with the blender pot instead because it looks cleaner. The bridge is a Blade Runner bridge. Vastly prefer the Blade Runner bridge to the standard American Fender bridge. It's a hell of a guitar. And as for amps and pedals, this is kind of my setup right now. I mainly play through this Boss Katana 100 watt Mark II combo amp into my computer. I have a Scarlett audio interface that I run through. It's just a really good setup for home life, and it wasn't terribly expensive. This is my pedal board. All three of these go into the amp directly to control onboard effects and stuff. I've got a little Memory Man, an EQ pedal that's broken that I need to get out of the board, a cheap Joyo Vintage Overdrive that's fun to play with, MXR Distortion Plus, Angry Charlie from JHS, a Big Muff Pi, it's pretty cool, little pedal tuner. Got a digital delay, it was a cheap one to play with. I've got a Mod Tone Atomic Phaser 2. It's an okay phaser. I would like a better phaser. And then a JHS VCR, which is a really cool pedal that I wish I could have reskinned. And a Ditto looper from TC Electronics, just because sometimes I'm feeling like noodling. I've got a few other amps that don't hardly see any love. I've got an Epiphone Electar 30. I bought that on a whim. I was in a guitar store and they had one. My first ever amp was an Epiphone Electar 10, and it has been lost to time, and I just got so geeked whenever I saw it that I bought it. It was only like $100. A really cool amp. And then down here I've got a Carvin Vintage 16. I don't get to play through my tube amps because I live in a house with a small baby and a wife and another 6-year-old boy, and I don't want to blow them away, but someday.